Iniesta has officially announced his retirement. We'll discuss the reactions of Messi and other stars. Musiala is leaving Bayern. What is Germany willing to do to keep him? Griezmann's brilliant plan regarding Mbappé and the French national team. Details have emerged about Alexander-Arnold's transfer to Real Madrid. We are talking about this and much more today. This is a hot selection of the most interesting football news. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and like this video to get more news about our favorite game. Your support is very important to us. Let's get started. Luis Enrique has initiated a restructuring at Paris Saint-Germain. Now, the Parisians genuinely look like a team with a common idea rather than just a random collection of stars. However, the French press regularly criticizes the coach. Firstly, because many people dislike the team's style of play under Enrique. No wonder, since Luis's football is only formally attacking. The first half for PSG is almost always very sparse in terms of chances, and the second halves aren't always better. Secondly, Enrique speaks harshly about journalists at press conferences. Recently, Luis stated that he would give media workers half his salary if he didn't have to communicate with them. But there are also those within the club who are dissatisfied with the coach. As reported by L'Équipe, Enrique's vision of football, his tactical instructions, and inflexibility irritate some people in the management. The main problem lies in the difference between Enrique's philosophy and the team's strengths. For example, players like Ousmane Dembélé and Bradley Barcola are most dangerous during transitional phases of the game. And such phases are minimal in Enrique's football when the team possesses the ball 70% of the time. Moreover, Luis demands that players don't rush to accelerate the attack unnecessarily. It's better to ruin a counterattack and keep the ball than to take risks. This approach often leads to draw results. Currently, Luis Enrique has the lowest win percentage among all PSG coaches since 2013. But I don't understand what complaints PSG management can have against the coach. Did the bosses of the Parisians not study the coach at all before appointing him? Enrique has been this way for over 10 years and isn't going to change. He has repeatedly said that he is a dogmatist. This is the most appropriate description. No adaptability whatsoever. In general, when the club invited Enrique, the PSG squad seemed as unsuitable as possible for the Spaniards' football. Therefore, I'm not even surprised that only now some board members are starting to understand who Enrique is. Completely non-football people in football positions. It seems that Bayern Munich is ready to go all in. The club is offering Jamal Musiala a threefold increase in salary. Currently, the footballer earns around $8 million per year, and it will be approximately $25 million. Quite a hefty raise. For those not aware of his story, Musiala has been refusing to extend his contract with Bayern for a considerable time. The club is doing everything possible to persuade him, but so far without success. So they have to resort to methods unusual for Bayern, such as significantly increasing the salary, which is not typical for this team. Many big clubs are chasing Musiala. There have been reports about Manchester City, and Liverpool is often mentioned as well. So the Munich club has reasons to be concerned, and all this is not happening out of thin air. Right now, the Portal Transfermarkt values Musiala at 130 million euros, but he can already be signed at a significant discount. If, of course, the player's own position remains unchanged and he does not extend his contract. As is known, no one will pay much for a player with an expiring contract. Musiala's current agreement runs until 2026, so Bayern needs to either extend it now or sell him. There is no third option. In Munich, of course, they want to keep the player, but apparently this is not very interesting to Musiala himself. Perhaps he and his agent are stalling to secure the most favorable offer, or they are indeed considering moving to another club. It is worth noting that Jamal himself is silent as a fish. He doesn't comment on anything, just keeps quiet. We'll see what all this leads to in the end and whether Bayern can keep him. Meanwhile, to make sure you don't miss anything, subscribe to our channel right now and click on the bell icon. Then you'll definitely be up to date with all the news from every corner of the football universe. And while you're doing all that, we move on to the next block of news. Former midfielder of Catalan Barcelona and the Spanish national team, Andrés Iniesta, has announced his retirement. The Spaniard is now 40 years old. Some might say he even delayed this decision, while others might think he effectively ended his career back in 2018 when he left Barcelona and went to play in Japan. One of the most magical teammates, and one of those with whom it was most enjoyable to play. The ball will miss you, and so will we. I wish you all the very best, phenomenon, wrote Messi on one of the social networks. Of course, it's hard to be number one when you're playing in the same team as a footballer like Lionel Messi, but sometimes even he managed to do just that. Andrés played 674 matches for Barcelona, scoring 57 goals and making 136 assists. After that, he went to conquer the Japanese league, joining the local Vissel Kobe, for which he played another 134 games, scored 30 goals, and provided about the same number of assists. But even that wasn't Iniesta's last team. He then joined the Emirates club, for which he played 23 matches. And with that, so to speak, the Spaniard's fuel ran out. It must be admitted his tank was large. Playing until the age of 40 is within the reach of very few players. Yes, it wasn't in Europe, but somewhere far away, but still. Perhaps some of you think he could have stayed in European championships much longer. After all, Iniesta is a player of great talent, and for such footballers, age is, in a sense, just a number. But we have what we have. Perhaps Andrés didn't want to play anywhere in Europe except for Barca, and decided to leave Europe altogether. But if you thought you wouldn't see this player anymore, think again. If we believe Mundo Deportivo, Iniesta is planning to start a coaching career. Allegedly, he wants to follow in Xavi's footsteps and immediately get a position at the helm of one of the teams and intends to wait for his chance. As you understand, this will be outside of Europe, possibly somewhere in the Emirates or Japan. In an ideal world, I would like to lead Barcelona, but that's still far away. I'm still playing. I don't have a coaching license. I will get it, obtain a sporting director's license, and then we'll see. This is a recent comment from Iniesta regarding whether he would like to coach Barca. So who knows, maybe in the very near future, we'll see him at the helm of the Catalans, as was the case with Xavi. We hope that Andrés will learn some lessons and behave more restrainedly, something his former teammate lacked. In the meantime, cool. Antoine Griezmann recently announced his retirement from the national team. He didn't specify the reasons behind this decision, but Kylian Mbappé hinted that Griezmann felt he wasn't being fully appreciated. After the Euros, Antoine faced a lot of criticism as he wasn't in optimal form during the tournament. Let's not forget that Antoine was vying for the captain's armband in the national team after Raphael Varane's departure. Despite Mbappé's exploits, it seems that Griezmann was no less deserving of it. Moreover, he simply has more experience and matches played for the national team. Journalist Romain Molina stated that Antoine truly felt undervalued in recent years. And Griezmann has a plan to achieve the recognition he deserves. He intends to make a triumphant return to the national team, just like Zinedine Zidane did, who, after leaving the team, returned after just over a year and a half and became captain at the 2006 World Cup. Antoine wants to pull off the same trick. Despite the fierce competition in the squad, a fit Griezmann will still be one of the key players until the very end of his career, considering his skills in finding free space, reading the game, finishing, and passing. But the situation will, in any case, differ from Zidane's. Firstly, Antoine has a completely different status, and I doubt that Deschamps will dare to take the captain's armband from Mbappé in favor of Griezmann. Secondly, Zidane caught the team during a rebuilding phase when Les Bleus declined due to an aging squad. But now in France, considering the talented youth, such factors will hardly have an impact. And Griezmann certainly won't be as crucial to the team as Zidane was. The publication Marca, the most pro-Real Madrid outlet, has shared insider information regarding the possible transfer of Trent Alexander-Arnold to Real Madrid. As you already know, Dani Carvajal is out of action. Some even report that the recovery period could take up to a year. The Whites cannot be without a defender for so long and are forced to enter the transfer market. The press has written that the Royal Club will most likely make its first winter transfer in the last 6 years. The club hasn't bought anyone mid-season for such a long time, and now urgent necessity forces them to do so. So Real plans to enter into dialogue with Arnold and his agent this winter. We want to remind you, according to regulations, a footballer who has 6 months remaining on his contract has the full right to negotiate with a new team without any obstacles. So Liverpool won't be able to prevent him from doing this. The Royal Club understands all this and wants to do everything, so to speak, according to the law. Well, the football law. Arnold himself doesn't want to stick his neck out and doesn't intend to discuss his future until he has the right to do so. Being a Liverpool Academy graduate, he doesn't want to spoil relations with the fans and the team. In general, this whole transfer is on pause until winter. And for now, Lucas Vazquez will replace Carvajal. Some media even write that in case of failure, if the Whites don't sign anyone this winter, Real will entrust this position to the Spaniard until the end of the season. The club believes in him. That's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video, and be sure to watch our previous video. It just appeared before your eyes right now. See you. Good luck to everyone. Goodbye.